31. Fine weapons are instruments of evil. They are hated by man. Therefore those who possess Tao turn away from them. The good ruler when at home honors the left. When at war he honors the right. Weapons are instruments of evil, not the instruments of a good ruler. When he uses them unavoidably, he regards calm restraint as the best principle. Even when he is victorious, he does not regard it as praiseworthy, for to praise victory is to delight in the slaughter of men. He who delights in the slaughter of men will not succeed in the empire. In auspicious affairs, the left is honored. In inauspicious affairs, the right is honored. The lieutenant general stands on the left. The senior general stands on the right. This is to say that the arrangement follows that of funeral ceremonies. For the slaughter of the multitude, let us weep with sorrow and grief. For a victory, let us observe the occasion with funeral ceremonies. 32. Tao is eternal and has no name. Though its simplicity seems insignificant, none in the world can master it. If kings and barons would hold on to it, all things would submit to the spontaneously. Heaven and earth unite to drip sweet dew. Without the command of men, it drips evenly over all. As soon as there were regulations and institutions, there were names. As soon as there were names, know that it is time to stop. It is by knowing when to stop that one can be free from danger. Analogically, Tao in the world may be compared to rivers and streams running into the sea. 33. He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened. He who conquers others has physical strength. He who conquers himself is strong. He who is contented is rich. He who acts with vigor has will. He who does not lose his place with Tao will endure. He who dies but does not really perish enjoys long life. 34. The great Tao flows everywhere. It may go left or right. All things depend on it for life, and it does not turn away from them. It accomplishes its task, but does not claim credit for it. It clothes and feeds all things, but does not claim to be master over them. Always without desires it may be called the small. All things come to it, and it does not master them, it may be called the great. Therefore, the sage never strives himself for the great, and thereby the great is achieved. 35. Hold fast to the great form, Tao, and all the world will come. They come and will encounter no harm, but enjoy comfort, peace, and health. When there are music and dainties, passing strangers will stay. But the words uttered by Tao, how insipid and tasteless! We look at it, it is imperceptible. We listen to it, it is inaudible. We use it, it is inexhaustible. 36. In order to contract, it is necessary first to expand. In order to weaken, it is necessary first to strengthen. In order to destroy, it is necessary first to promote. In order to grasp, it is necessary first to give. This is called subtle light. The weak and the tender overcome the hard and the strong. Fish should not be taken away from water, and sharp weapons of state should not be displayed to the people. 37. Tao invariably takes no action, and yet there is nothing left undone. If kings and barons can keep it, all things will transform spontaneously. If, after transformation, they should desire to be active, I would restrain them with simplicity, which has no name. Simplicity, which has no name, is free of desires. Being free of desires, it is tranquil. And the world will be at peace of its own accord. 38. The man of superior virtue is not conscious of his virtue, and in this way he really possesses virtue. The man of inferior virtue never loses sight of his virtue, and in this way he loses his virtue. The man of superior virtue takes no action, but has no ulterior motive to do so. The man of inferior virtue takes action, and has an ulterior motive to do so. The man of superior humanity takes action, but has no ulterior motive to do so. The man of superior righteousness takes action, and has an ulterior motive to do so. The man of superior propriety takes action, and when people do not respond to it, he will stretch his arms and force it on them. Therefore, when Tao is lost, only then does the doctrine of virtue arise. When virtue is lost, only then does the doctrine of humanity arise. When humanity is lost, only then does the doctrine of righteousness arise. When righteousness is lost, only then does the doctrine of propriety arise. Now, propriety is a superficial expression of loyalty and faithfulness, and the beginning of disorder. Those who are the first to know have the flowers of Tao, but are the beginning of ignorance. For this reason the great man dwells in the thick, and does not rest with the thin. He dwells in the fruit, and does not rest with the flower. Therefore he rejects the one, and accepts the other. 39. Of old those that obtained the one, heaven obtained the one and became clear. Earth obtained the one and became tranquil. The spiritual beings obtained the one and became divine. The valley obtained the one and became full. The myriad things obtained the one and lived and grew. Kings and barons obtained the one and became rulers of the empire. What made them so is the one. If heaven had not thus become clear, it would soon crack. If the earth had not thus become tranquil, it would soon be shaken. If the spiritual beings had not thus become divine, they would soon wither away. If the valley had not thus become full, it would soon become exhausted. If the myriad things had not thus lived and grown, they would soon become extinct. If kings and barons had not thus become honorable and high in position, they would soon fall. Therefore, humble station is the basis of honor. The low is the foundation of the high. For this reason kings and barons call themselves children without parents, lonely people without spouses, and men without food to eat. Is this not regarding humble station as the basis of honor? Is it not? Therefore enumerate all the parts of a chariot as you may, and you still have no chariot. Rather than jingle like the jade, rumble like the rocks. 40. Reversion is the action of Tao. Weakness is the function of Tao. All things in the world come from being, and being comes from non-being. 41. When the highest type of men hear Tao, they diligently practice it. When the average type of men hear Tao, they half believe in it. When the lowest type of men hear Tao, they laugh heartily at it. If they did not laugh at it, it would not be Tao. Therefore there is the established saying, the Tao which is bright appears to be dark. The Tao which goes forward appears to fall backward. The Tao which is level appears uneven. Great virtue appears like a valley, hollow. Great purity appears like disgrace. Far-reaching virtue appears as if insufficient. Solid virtue appears as if unsteady. True substance appears to be changeable. The great square has no corners. The great implement, or talent, is slow to finish, or mature. Great music sounds faint. Great form has no shape. Tao is hidden and nameless. Yet it is Tao alone that skillfully provides for all and brings them to perfection. 42. Tao produced the one. The one produced the two. The two produced the three. And the three produced the 10,000 things. The 10,000 things carry the yin and embrace the yang, and through the blending of the material force they achieve harmony. People hate to be children without parents, lonely people without spouses, or men without food to eat, and yet kings and lords call themselves by these names. Therefore, it is often the case that things gain by losing and lose by gaining. What others have taught, I teach also. Violent and fierce people do not die a natural death. I shall make this the father of my teaching. 43. The softest things in the world overcome the hardest things in the world. Non-being penetrates that in which there is no space. Through this I know the advantage of taking no action. Few in the world can understand the teaching without words and the advantage of taking no action. 44. Which does one love more, fame or one's own life? Which is more valuable, one's own life or wealth? Which is worse, gain or loss? Therefore he who has lavish desires will spend extravagantly. He who hoards will lose most heavily. He who is contented suffers no disgrace. He who knows when to stop is free from danger. Therefore he can long endure. 45. What is most perfect seems to be incomplete, but its utility is unimpaired. What is most full seems to be empty, but its usefulness is inexhaustible. What is most straight seems to be crooked. The greatest skill seems to be clumsy. The greatest eloquence seems to stutter. Hasty movement overcomes cold, but tranquility overcomes heat. By being greatly tranquil, one is qualified to be the ruler of the world.